Welcome back, folks, to the Membership Machine Show. This is episode 92. In this episode, we're going to be talking about one of the leading learning management membership platforms in WordPress, LifterLMS, and how do you sell your courses if you want to add digital or physical products to your Lifter LMS setup. Like I said before, Lifter is really powerful. It has a inbuilt course selling system inbuilt in with it. But if you, like I said, if you want to sell digital products or physical products on top of your courses, you're going to need something else to work with Lifter. And the two that we like is SureCart or WooCommerce. We're going to be going into it, what these two platforms have to offer, their strengths and weaknesses, so you can make an educated choice. So, Kirk, would you like to quickly introduce yourself to the new listeners and viewers?
Yeah, I would love to. My name's Kurt Von Annen. I own an agency called Mañana No Mas. We focus largely on membership and learning style websites. And I work directly with Jonathan at WP-Tonic and the good folks at LifterLMS.
That's fantastic. And before we go into the meat and potatoes of this show, I've got a couple of messages from our major sponsors. We'll be back in a few moments, folks.
Hi there, e-commerce store owner. At Omnisend, we help more than 100,000 e-commerce customers just like you sell their products. We're an all-in-one email and SMS marketing platform that helps you reach your customers, grow your audience, and increase sales. In fact, our customers have seen incredible results with Omnisend, averaging $72 in revenue for every single dollar spent. And if you ever have a question, our award-winning customer support team is available 24/7 every single day. That's one of the reasons we have more than 6,000 glowing reviews and ratings all across the web. So, get started with Omnisend today and start growing your business with better email and SMS marketing.
I'm coming back, folks. I'd like to point out we've got some fantastic free resources for you looking to build your membership website. Where do you go to get these resources? Well, you go over to wp-tonic.com/deals, wp-tonic.com/deals. You can get some great offers from our major sponsors, plus a curated list of the best WordPress plugins and services to help you build your membership website. Plus, we got a great course done by Kurt that shows you how to build your membership website from beginning to end, utilizing Lifter LMS and Cadence. It's a great course. So you've got all these free resources on that page. So, Kirk, how would you, if you were talking to somebody and trying to explain SureCart or WooCommerce or the whole issue of taking payments through digital products or physical products through Lifter, how would you try do the intro to that person?
Well, Jonathan, and this is where I may ruffle some feathers. I do everything, absolutely everything in my power, working with my clients to figure out, is there a workaround or a process where I can just use the standard native payment gateway in Lifter LMS and leverage that thing without having to use these, monolith shopping cart products. But sometimes it happens. So when that happens, it really is based on use case. What are you selling? How are you selling it? Who are you selling it to? And what are your plans for growth over time? And then I'm going to say, unfortunately, sometimes I end up having to integrate WooCommerce and play in that field. But I've had some tremendous success with SureCart as well. So it really comes down to the customer, the client, their comfort level, and what it is they're actually trying to do.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is that we work with Lifter LMS. We also work with LearnDash and we work with BuddyBoss. Now with LearnDash, it's a different scenario to Lifter LMS, folks, because LearnDash doesn't have content restriction really built into it. You can do it through the group functionality. You're probably thinking this is supposed to be about LifterLMS and he's talking about LearnDash, folks. I just think you need to know this, folks, to make this conversation and to understand Kirk's initial statement. So you don't have that with LearnDash, but you do have that with Lifter. Lifter has an inbuilt permission content-based system inbuilt into it. With LearnDash, it doesn't. So you need to utilize some form of membership or WooCommerce to get that. Because we're talking about Lifter, it has that. So the case for having to use a membership kind of functionality is less all-embracing with LifterLMS. And if you're just selling the courses, it also has the payment functionality also inbuilt into it. And with the purchase of the Stripe add-on, which will cost you around $150 for that particular add-on, you've got everything you need to sell your courses, organize them with LifterLMS.
Well, and to be honest, it goes deeper than that, Jonathan, because if we're talking about digital product, you can set LifterLMS up through membership access to access digital products, right? So in more of a world where you might say, oh, I need to be able to sell this ebook, I need a shopping cart to sell this ebook, you can sell the ebook through LifterLMS and get creative with the native payment gateway and keep things simple. The thing where I run into use case with customers is I'll say, okay, so you're a coach, you're an author, you're a whatever. Are you selling hardback books? Are you selling coffee mugs, tapestries, notebooks? Are you selling tangible items that need to be shipped? Well, then that's where I go, okay, now we need to get a shopping cart. We need to factor in, tax and shipping and all of those things. And that's where, these really great tools like WooCommerce and SureCart come into play. But if it's digital product, I do everything I can to just stay in the native payment gateway with Lifter. And then if it's hard product, then obviously we have to go the cart direction and work some other details out.
Yeah, it's even, in my opinion, Kurt, it's even a little bit more complicated because fundamentally, if you don't use what you get with LifterLMS is great. If you are starting out, I would strongly advise you, if you can, keep in the world of LifterLMS. But there's a proviso here, folks. There's always a proviso. And that's because Lifter doesn't give you the ability to do kind of a modern shopping cart environment where you've got upsells, downsells, bumps. It's called sales bumps. It's got, where it's giving you options in the shopping cart. And also it can't kind of trigger on its own kind of marketing email sequences, blah, blah, blah. But let's just focus on the modern shopping cart environment that you get a lot with e-commerce, where you do have additional digital products and you do have maybe some physical products. You can't, with the Lifter setup, you can't get that kind of modern shopping cart where it's offering at checkout these options, right? Now, these with WooCommerce, so these two that we're looking at, which is SureCart and WooCommerce with cart flows, they can offer you this modern shopping cart checkout experience. How would you respond to what I've just said, Kurt?
I agree. I agree 100%. The other thing to remember is, even though you and I are both speaking English and coming from the United States, there's a lot of users globally that maybe can't use the same payment gateways as a Stripe or a PayPal, and they require something else. And in those situations, WooCommerce generally connects to just about everything out there, right? So we'll see that as being a reason sometimes why people jump off of the native payment gateways and go into WooCommerce so they can use those other avenues of payment.
Right, so I think we've done a good introduction here, a big view about why we're talking about these two options and why you might consider them, folks, like I said. So let's look at the Pacific's SureCart. So what do you see as SureCart's strengths and also its weaknesses, Kurt? Because every solution, folks, has its strengths and has its weaknesses. Nothing is totally perfect. Nothing is totally rubbish. Well, not always. Some things are rubbish. But these two products, they're not. They have specific strengths and they have some weaknesses. So, how would you explain SureCart to somebody?
From a preference standpoint, I think SureCart is easier to set up. I think the pathway to success with SureCart is more clear to the end user. So, and I know that sounds like a word salad to some, but maybe it's the user interface, maybe it's the layout of the menu, maybe it's the simple process of, start your store or import your store. And then it just goes next, next, next. And next thing you know, you're on a screen with settings and you fill in a couple of blanks and your store's ready to go. And it pre-populates with sample stuff. So it gives you an idea of what to do. And then I think it's also fair to note that SureCart is really in the middle of releasing SureCart 3.0, which has more styling cues and more design options than it had before. For instance, it integrates directly with bricks now, things like that. So SureCart for me, when you say what are the benefits are I don't have to buy an extra add-on to do subscriptions. It handles subscriptions. It handles, as you said, bumps, upsells, and downsells. And that seems to work pretty well. We've got a couple of clients ourselves that have SureCart with LifterLMS, and they've been able to bump people from, this membership to this membership or this membership to this membership. And you can set it up to say, execute that bump on the start of the next billing cycle, or make it happen immediately, or it gives you those choices. And so it seems really intuitive in the way that it operates. And like I said, that user interface, the user experience for our clients seems to be much clearer in the SureCart environment than in the WooCommerce environment. With WooCommerce, I seem to do a lot more zoom.
Yeah, let's keep with the SureCart.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think you did well. Effective summary there. So fundamentally, it's easier to set up than WooCommerce. It offers it is a plugin, but basically it's a hybrid. It's a plugin SaaS based software as a service model where they do offer an attractive free level that isn't too crippled, that with a lot of cases will meet your requirements for quite a while. And then they have paid options that you pay monthly or yearly, but it's not ridiculously priced. The growth, if you pay monthly, is $39 a month. But if you pay it yearly, it goes down to 19. So they really want you to pay yearly. And at $19, I think, but you can do a lot with the free level, and it's just really easy. It didn't have a lot of styling or layout customization. If you wanted all that, you had to go to WooCommerce. Their with their upcoming version 3, I think they're trying to address that to some extent. Hopefully, but it's a fine choice really, because they could take it too far. The more options, the more complicated it will get, and paralysis could set in that you spend too much time about the layout. But if you're looking for that type of functionality of upsells with digital products, with physical products, and you're looking for a free initial setup, which you get with SureCart's launch, I think it's a really attractive option if it fits into what you're looking for. And then the growth price level at $19 if you pay for the year, which is around
About $240.
yeah, thanks. It's been a long morning already. It's not, it offers a lot of value. Um, what how would you respond to what I've just said, Kurt?
When it comes to the pricing, a lot of people will go, but WooCommerce is free. And look at all the stuff it does. And then I go, but the main thing you need with the LifterLMS website is the ability to have recurring payments. And now you're out almost $300 for the subscriptions add-on, and that's hard to stomach. I think when I can go and say, okay, I can get started and have subscriptions included with SureCart, and as my business grows and as I might want to do some other options, jump in for that other option you mentioned at $240 a year, I'm still lower than WooCommerce. And like I said, I'm enjoying the screen experience better in SureCart. It just seems like one reason why I would say SureCart versus WooCommerce, why WooCommerce would win in the argument, is the ubiquity of use for WooCommerce. It's so common, so many people use it. If someone left my agency, went to another agency, chances are they'd find a WooCommerce expert at that agency. It's just that common. But and SureCart doesn't exactly, I don't think, have that kind of pull, that kind of weight yet.
How effective, based on your experience, how effective does it work with LifterLMS?
It works great. I mean, I'm going to sound like a commercial for SureCart, right? But with WooCommerce, the integration comes from the LifterLMS side, because LifterLMS has the add-on for WooCommerce integration. But the integration for LifterLMS with SureCart comes from the SureCart side, and it's almost like using that example we had with Fluent CRM Pro. You have Fluent CRM Pro, you have LifterLMS, they work together. You put in SureCart, you have LifterLMS, they work together. Someone buys the product in the shop and it activates the access plan in LifterLMS, and most of the integrations that SureCart has, whether it be LearnDash, LifterLMS, TutorLMS, operate in a very similar fashion. It's very consistent.
Right. Another, before we go for our break, folks, and then in the second half we'll be looking at WooCommerce quite a bit, is another option is from Zoho. Zoho offers a lot of SaaS-based products. They offer something that was called subscription, but it's been rolled into their product, which I think is called Invoices. And if you're looking to do invoices and subscription payments, their free product is quite attractive, and it works. The thing with SureCart, it integrates more into your WordPress kind of setup. You can, where the payment area you're going to be taken, if you use Zola, you're going to be taken to something that looks very different in style, and that can result in people deciding at the last minute not to purchase. So, but it is an option, and it's something that I've used and with clients and that. But I think SureCart is the nice medium. It's the nice middle point where you're looking to get something set up and do the subscriptions, do the bumps, the upsells, and it works really well. We're going to go for our break now. When we come back, we're going to be delving in the world of WooCommerce, and then any other things that we think you need to know. We'll be back in a few moments, folks.
Tired of hosting providers that can't handle high traffic loads? Conversio is here to help. Our platform can handle any amount of traffic, all without slowing down or crashing. With immediate Slack support, performance optimization, and a team that thrives on resolving technical challenges, your e-commerce business is in safe hands. Learn more about Conversio at conversio.com.
This podcast episode is brought to you by LifterLMS, the leading learning management system solution for WordPress. If you or your client are creating any kind of online course, training-based membership website, or any type of e-learning project, LifterLMS is the most secure, stable, well-supported solution on the market. Go to lifterlms.com and save 20% at checkout with coupon code podcast20. That's podcast20. Enjoy the rest of your show.
We're coming back, folks. We've had a feast of SureCart, and some of the things you need to know if you want to do upsells, bumps, sell physical products, digital one-off products with your WordPress LifterLMS or Learn Dash website. Now, before we go into WooCommerce, I want to point out that we've got a great free resource for you if you're looking to build your membership website on WordPress. That's the Membership Machine Shows Facebook group. It's totally open to you, the listener. If you're looking for a great community, why don't you look to join that group? Like I say, it's totally free. It's a mixture of WordPress professionals and people looking to build their membership website. It's totally free. I'm always posting content there every week, which I think you will find useful. Please have a look at it and sign up for it. So let's delve into the world of WooCommerce. And I'm going to do the introduction because you did the introduction with SureCart.
That's okay.
It is a beast, and a lot of people, if you've got the right hosting setup, it won't make an enormous difference to performance, which like you get with WP-Tonic. You're also the updating of it. You're not going to be utilising a lot of the e-commerce functionality that's built into WooCommerce. So you set it up, but the thing is, there's a couple of loops to jump through, and that's you're going to have to buy a WooCommerce add-on, and it's called WooCommerce subscription, and that's going to cost you $270 a year. You get that for free with WP-Tonic hosting. So you're going to need that. But the other thing you're going to need, for you to have a modern membership shopping cart environment, you're going to need cart flows, which is made from the same people that do SureCart, but it's their plugin that manipulates the WooCommerce standard shopping cart, which works fine, but it's was never really designed to work with memberships. Like I say, you've got to buy this add-on that links the internal setup of LifterLMS with what WooCommerce is expecting as a product, and it's not that difficult to actually do. But the problem is the normal shopping cart. It is not that attractive, and it doesn't work in the way that a modern subscription-based business in 2024 your users are going to expect. But with cart flows, you can get that, and it gives you everything like upsells, downsells, adding options, everything you can build in cart flows. So what do you reckon about what I've just said, actually?
I'm tracking most of what you were saying there, Jonathan. You are right in that the setup can be intimidating. But where you were saying that things were, that connecting.
It's not that bad when you get your head around it a little bit, is it? It's not that hard.
Once you understand that, hey, these are my products, I'm running a department store and WooCommerce is my cash register. Like once you kind of make those associations, you go, okay, that makes sense. But where people get lost, especially in the LifterLMS world or in the digital products world, is in WooCommerce, when you are selling a virtual product or a downloadable product or a course, there's some tick boxes that you need to go through in order to make sure that your sale actually processes. And it's one of the details that many users miss, and it lights up my support channel like crazy. Because someone will say, "Oh, I've got these orders and they're just pending. What's going on?" And then I go in, I look at the setup, and I'm like, "Well, you checked virtual, but you didn't click downloadable." And they'll go, "Well, downloadable. I'm selling a course. There's nothing to download." I'm like, "Just click downloadable." And then when you go to the integration LifterLMS side of it, you want to make sure that you have it going to the proper order status after it's been processed through the access plan, which would be completed. And these are just details. They're details that you need with WooCommerce that add to the level of complication.
Yeah, it's just little things like what Kirk's just pointed out.
But once it's set up, it works great.
But would you agree that if you're looking for a nice looking one-page checkout subscription page, you're going to have to use cart flows with WooCommerce as well?
Yeah, I've used cart flows. I also have a client that had a Divi website, and we ended up using PoodlePress's product, blocks for WooCommerce, to go in and customize pages. But to your point, that's because the customer doesn't like the cart. The cart's clunky. I don't want to say bare bones. It's just ugly. And so people will generally want to style that up, which means they're going to be adding more tools to add style options.
Yeah, so with cart flows, you can build a flow where you also get a thank you page. They take into a thank you page. They provide some templates for that. It works with most themes, like Cadence and...
now that you mention it, Jonathan, one of the number one complaints I get from clients is the order confirmation notification email and the thank you notification email. Customers hate the way those are styled, and you got to jump through a little bit of a hoop to make that improvement.
Well, you're touching another subject there now, which I was you must have read my mind. The other benefit, and with SureCart, I'm sure it will send out a thank you, but you don't have the level of customizability, if there is such word, as you get with the WooCommerce setup, folks. But the other great attraction of WooCommerce is you then get access to the vast library of add-ons that have been built. I think there's over 900 plus add-ons in the official WooCommerce add-on library. Some of them are free, most aren't. You have to pay, and there's an enormous, and I mean an enormous amount of integrations offered. If you're using the WooCommerce platform, you do not get access to that with SureCart. One of the areas is that if you're looking to trigger off a lot of email sequences and do a big dive, you're really going to have to look at WooCommerce, because then the WooCommerce add-on that works with Fluent CRM, you're getting some real marketing power up to the level or above of something like Active Campaign or Keep. And if you don't want to use Fluent, you can use Groundhog. They're the two leaders. I prefer Fluent, but if you like Groundhog, you can use that. But if you're really looking for this kind of heavy duty, hardcore marketing automation, and if you're looking in the world of SaaS, you'll be looking at Active Campaign or Keep, or even HubSpot, or even enterprise level CRM marketing automation platforms, which Active Campaign touches, but it is especially dependent on the size of your list, can get quite expensive quite quickly, Active. But compared to some of the enterprise or quasi enterprise level solutions like HubSpot or some of the others, it's seen as good value. But you're getting that with Fluent CRM, with WooCommerce, but you really got to make the decision. If this is your early days of building your marketing, building your membership website and the marketing, I would not go down that route. I think it could be a real waste of time for you. But if you're starting to really grow your membership and you really want to really reduce churn, get more people sign up and keep in the course, you are going to have to look at these marketing automatizations. And what do you reckon about what I've just outlined there?
You kind of touched on in your description there, and I go back to this a lot. I go back to use case. Where's the course creator or the membership creator at in their journey? So many people will see something, the shiny object syndrome, and they'll go, oh, I got to have it. I got to have that. And in reality, if they're just getting started, if they don't have any paying members yet, a simple Fluent add-in, some basic CRM automations, just something to get started. But as the audience grows and as the demand and the community grows within your project, then you definitely want to have more automations, more segmentation, more messaging. And then, we're walking right down the pathway that you described. I, like yourself, have become a complete Fluent CRM convert. The program, the platform just works. There's a reason why WP Fusion switched to using Fluent for their projects, right? Because it just works even with a business their size. So it's a great option and it's very affordable.
Yeah. If you listened to last week's show, and if you didn't, you really want to, folks, we talked about Podio and Kajabi and comparing them to WordPress, i.e. LifterLMS. And there is a slight problem here, folks, but we at WP-Tonic are trying to build a solution. It's in beta, and we'll be talking more about it in upcoming shows, is that Podio, if you listen to last week's show, folks, Podio had some great strengths, and Podio it's much easier to set up and get going than Kajabi, but it doesn't have anything like the power of Kajabi. It's easier. I would say that both, Kajabi less, definitely with Podio, doesn't have a great website builder. But the main thing is, if you want to do marketing automation, email sequence, what it provides, if you're a newbie, you're going to be satisfied. But as you move on into the next stage, you're going to get frustrated with Podio, and then you're going to get very frustrated, and then you're going to have to attempt to move to something like Kajabi, and that's not easy when you're trying to run your business, moving platforms, right? Now with WordPress, you've got Fluent, but I see Fluent as this competitor, or even more, offers even more customization and power than Kajabi. It's the next step up from Kajabi. It's Kajabi on steroids that gets you the kind of active campaign functionality. But if you're in that beginner or lower intermediate level, having to work with Fluent is a little bit overkill. Well, what we're building at WP-Tonic, we're not offering it to the public at the present moment, is we've built a kind of Podio alternative, a interface and functionality that's easier to use than having to go and work with Fluent, that enables you to do a newsletter plus the marketing automation. There are plugin solutions in WordPress that allows you to build a newsletter, but they don't allow you to do the marketing automation side. There are other alternatives to Fluent that you can use, that we also provide, but they're also pretty complicated. They're complicated. So we're testing a solution that has the benefits of Podio, and there's definitely, in my mind, and hopefully Kurt, there's a need for a middle space that enables you to do SMS, text, landing page, but it's also a little bit easier than something than Fluent CRM. What's your thoughts about what I've just outlined?
Yeah, but the sweet spot is so hard to find, and I empathize with you in the development on this a great deal, because no matter what you provide, there's a certain element of people that are going to be like, oh, I wish it did this. I wish it did that. I wish it did this. And it's like every time you say, I wish, you add complexity and confusion to the offer. So there's a real sweet spot to be found. And yeah, that middle ground is, I want it to do everything.
It can't, but you can't. But
Yeah.
what I thought is what we're building at WP-Tonic could be the Podio. But instead of having to ditch a platform to actually move your whole membership website, the people that outgrow our Podio offering,
They can just expand.
we just offer them Fluent CRM.
Yeah, they just expand.
They just go off to Fluent, and they don't have to move their whole platform, which you know and I know is a nightmare, isn't it?
At times.
Well, it is, isn't it? You know, you're trying to grow your you got to the stage where it's starting to really kick off, and then you're getting frustrated with the limitations of something like Podio, which was great at the beginning because you wanted something that was just that you get on with it, folks. And then you have to jump ship in the same time when you're really should be focusing even more, getting even more students, and really and your focus is going off to semi-manage the movement of your whole business to another platform.
Yeah.
It ain't great, is it, Kurt?
No, and then a lot of these platforms make it very difficult to get your data out of them. And so it's not as simple as just like a WP all import, blah, blah, blah. It's you've got to get your data and then you've got to figure out how to add it to, your WordPress upgrade. So there's challenges. Absolutely. There's some aggro, as you would say.
Yeah, but the way I see it, folks, it's a bit like if you're trying to learn to ride a bike. If you could buy a bike that's a freewheeler, and you learn quick on the freewheeler. But any child or any that learns on a freewheeler, they want to junk it as quickly as possible because it's not seen as the real bike. You want to go on a two. So the freewheeler does the job. It gets you learning how to ride the bike, but you want to move on a real bike, just two wheels. Or you can buy stabilizers, but as soon as you learn to ride the bike, you want to take the stabilizers off as quick as possible. So you're in that kind of scenario, but like I say, but that's the thing you want to consider because when you're using one of these powerful tools like Fluent CRM or the SaaS equivalent, Active Campaign, they are enormously powerful, but where power comes, complexity comes. It can't be avoided because their audience, the customers that they're trying to fulfill, are the intermediate and advanced user base. Their focus is not on the beginner of marketing automation. Am I waffling now? Did that make some sense, actually, Kurt?
That's a little bit of waffle, but that's all right. The main focus is how are we going to sell some LifterLMS stuff, and do we need shopping carts to do it?
Yeah. The other thing was landing pages, but if you're utilising something like Cadence, it comes with a whole library, and the system we're building utilises the power of Cadence, and you have access to patterns and a library of landing pages, and you'll be able to build your own as well, but you have access, you'll be able to mix and move around. And the newsletter, it's still surprising in 2024, folks, that there's still a lot of flex, as I call it, in this area. And there's a lot of overlap with email marketing platforms that I've discussed, and with shopping carts and marketing automation. There's so much overlap, and you can get really confused really quick. And it's got nothing to do with WordPress. You get confused if you're in the world, if you don't want to use WordPress, if you want to use something like Wix or Squarespace, it's still, and you bolt on these third-party SaaS systems, it can get equally as confusing really quickly as well, can't it?
Absolutely.
I think that's enough. Is there anything that we've not covered that you like to add?
Well, I was just thinking about if we go back to the original subject of selling in LifterLMS, there's things that are going to come up as your project grows. It's going to be, maybe I have a group of people that are doing training on a course at the same time, and we would call that a cohort, right? And so LifterLMS has cohorts built in so that you can clone a course, assign it to a certain group of people at a certain time, and that is just for them. And then you can do that over and over. So there's that cohort option, and then groups. And I think it's interesting that we're talking about shopping carts today and LifterLMS, because some people that really leverage the groups function with Lifter, the groups was a very manual process with Lifter. So somebody would say, I need to buy 50 seats for my company for this course. And you would say, okay, give me $10,000 and I'll give you access to your own group with 50 seats in it. And you would have to manually build that. Well, Chris at LifterLMS kind of gave up the ghost last week, and he put up a post on the Facebook page that said that he had used or seen a beta version of Groups 2.0, and that's supposed to include some type of central pay platform where somebody would say, "Oh, I need 50 seats to this course," and it would automatically launch that course. I haven't seen this work yet, but this is one of the things that people will leverage a shopping cart for frequently in selling courses.
I don't think you made it totally clear to me. This is something that LifterLMS is building.
They're building, yeah. LifterLMS is coming out with a way to monetize the group and automate the group process. So I'm very excited to see how that turns out. And I would never mention it on a podcast, except that Chris blew the whistle on himself this week and posted it on Facebook. So I know it's coming soon. And it's one of the reasons that I end up having to add, a SureCart or a WooCommerce so that people could pay for multiple seats for a course in one transaction. And so it's interesting to see this take light. And I'm kind of, I don't want to say anxious. I'm more excited. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Well, it's great news because I think that will make it much more powerful and a great tool. Just to summarize, so if you're not looking to do sophisticated marketing automatizations and you've got quite a large membership website, I think if you want to do upsells and you do have a physical or a digital product that's outside the normal course structure, I think you're going to be really happy with SureCart, and that's the route I would go down, folks, with LifterLMS, and I would go down that route with LearnDash as well. But if you need the content protection side, the great news is SureCart has a membership plugin called SureMember, and we provide that as part of our hosting package, and that deals with the LearnDash people. So it's a great mixture of using LearnDash with SureMember with SureCart, right? That's how, because a lot of people just don't, they're not in that need, they're not in that position where they really need WooCommerce, right? But if you're the lifter person, you've got a lot more that's inbuilt anyway. But if you're just looking to sell one-off digital products and that, SureCart, either the free product, which works really well, and the grow at $19, you're going to be covered for quite a long time, a while. Depends on the growth of your course, your business, right? But then if you get to that stage, you can then look at WooCommerce. You're not entrapped. You could look at WooCommerce with Cartflows, who are the same company. You've got a lot of choices, a lot of options, haven't you, Kurt?
Yeah. I think the important thing to note, Jonathan, is deciding on which way you're going to generate revenue through your site is a fairly important decision, because changing your payment gateways, changing your shopping carts, especially if you have recurring payments in the mix, is very difficult. You can't just take somebody with a recurring payment set up in LifterLMS and swap that recurring payment into WooCommerce. That customer actually has to re-up. And there's always a certain amount of attrition when you ask customers to re-up a recurring fee. So, take a moment, think it through. What do you really want to do? What are your goals? Who's your target audience today? Who's your target audience a year, 5 years from now? And 5 years is eternity on the internet, so maybe not that far. But try to make an educated decision up front, because if you change your mind 6 months or a year in, there's some aggravation that comes with that, and some attrition, which is lost revenue. So you want to think it through before you execute.
Yeah, that's a great thing. I think that's well put. So, Kurt, what's the best way for people to find out more about you and you get some advice from you?
Well, if it's business, Mañana No Mas leads to me. MañanaNoMas.com, Mañana No Mas on X, Mañana No Mas on Facebook. But if it's to reach out personally, business to business, professional, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my jam. I'm the only Kurt Von Onen on LinkedIn, which makes me easy to find. You know, you got the right guy. Connect on LinkedIn and I'll get back in touch with you.
That's great. And if you want to learn more about the Membership Machine Show, like I say, join the Membership Machine Facebook group. It's a great free resource. Or you could go over to the WP-Tonic website. You can book a total free consultation with me. And you've got any questions or you want any advice, I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. We will be back next week with either Kirk or Haroon or a guest. You'll get some knowledge. I think it's been a great show. Hopefully I haven't bored you or lost you. I think it's been some great advice. We'll see you next week, folks. Bye.